Hi there, good afternoon. I'll bet you're a retail energy professional in Texas who knows the rules forward and backwards. Of course, though, how do you make sure that your entire team knows those rules? And more importantly, how do you demonstrate, if there was an audit, to the regulator that you have trained and enabled in compliance in your organization? So I was thinking about that and was trying to develop a process that you could do to provide that compliance. And so I created a Texas compliance matrix for various sections of the rules. Today's episode is about compliance with customer information that is related to privacy and also the distribution of historical usage to the customer and to other third parties. So how did I build this particular compliance matrix? Well, one, I created a breakdown of all the rules and kind of highlighted a little bit of the particular things that you need to know. I created links to the rule with a URL so you can actually go and see the rule and see, for that matter, if it's changed at all. I then also created a video. So it's a training video that you can use to make sure that all your personnel see it. Because, for example, with respect to privacy of customer information, everyone on your team needs to know that and what they can and cannot do with that information. So I created a video for that. So that's a training video. And then I looked at, well, what other ways can you document your compliance? Well, one is to have a process. So, for example, with respect to responding to requests for historical usage, I created another Airtable that allows you to create a system of record and a workflow for requests that come in from third parties like brokers and energy assistance companies, things like that, so that you can record when the request was made and when it was responded to and that you met the deadline. And finally, I also noted other third ways to demonstrate compliance. For example, if it was something that was a request coming from the customer about his billing history, you would note that in the billing system. You wouldn't need a separate Airtable because you essentially have a CRM or some other database within your billing system that would record that customer request and when it was responded to and complied with. So if you have all those things together, you have demonstrated a methodology for compliance with the rules. And you also can set up a responsible party and a department who are going to be responsible for making sure that people see the video when they first come to the company, or they know where the database with respect to historical usage is used and kept and trained on how to use it. And then you want to use that process to present to a regulator if they so asked and said, here's all of what we've done, and by the way, we have a time period for re-auditing that process. So you would have in there, I put in there 12 months where on an annual basis you would go through and make sure that people were compliant, anybody who knew had been hired had gotten the video training, things like that. Just sort of a refresher for people. And there's in the blocks, not only the video, of course, the training video, but also like a countdown timer so that, when the year was up and it had to go through a refresher course, you would be notified that this was the time to go do it. So all of that combined creates a nice little package that you could present to the regulator and show them, either through screenshots or sharing the actual compliance matrix, that shows that you're on the ball, that you have a system for making sure that there's compliance with the customer information rules in Texas. So I look forward to having you see the next video, which is an actual walkthrough of that compliance matrix where I can go in more detail and show you how you would use it to demonstrate compliance to the regulator. I'll have more of these for other sections of the Texas rules, but this is a first one for you to get started because it's applicable to all of your personnel. Thank you for listening.